Good morning, everybody. I guess we'll get cooking here. If everybody can see me, hear me. Thanks for coming. I'll give you kind of a general itinerary so you kind of know how to gauge how long we're going to be here. I'll talk for a minute. I'll turn it over to Mr. Farmer. We'll do the unveiling. Then we'll have the designer, Mr. Ryan Hargrove, come up and talk for a second. I'll talk a little more. Then we'll do a ribbon cutting. Chris Edwards with Lex TV said that there's 3 types of ceremonies that you can do for this. You can do a groundbreaking, you can do a ribbon cutting, or you can do an unveiling. So we're going to do an unveiling and a ribbon cutting. We're going to get two for today. Before we get cooking, there's a couple people I got to thank. Jake with Bullseye Lawn Care did all the landscaping. We kind of turned this over to him at last minute, so he pulled through on us. Plaster Concrete did the walkway. My father, Randy, did the lighting. Locals allowed us to do this. As also, we're going to have a bite to eat afterwards. Ramona Fry with Element Design actually did the layout of the cubes here, and then H.E. Palmer Company built them. Ryan Hargrove and Renato at UK were the designers, and for LFUCG Quarters Commission, Chris Edwards with Lex TV, Jennifer, and I pronounce her name wrong every single time. Warmer. Okay, I know. Warmoth. There we go. And of course, Mr. Bill Farmer and my wife Jill that lets me do these crazy projects from time to time and takes a little bit of time away from home. So now I'll give my written part of this. I'm not supposed to deviate from this because I have a tendency to curse when I'm in front of a microphone. So since my father first purchased his first property in this neighborhood to house his electric company back in 1986, the neighborhood's changed a lot. Progress for this neighborhood has moved at a snail's pace for over 3 decades. We weren't developers, we were redevelopers. We saved and restored old buildings that would traditionally meet their demise from the shadowy side of a wrecking ball, but instead we decided to save them. And we didn't have a developer's checkbook either. We moved, like I said, a snail's pace because that's what we could afford, investing sweat equity above all other forms of investing. When I worked on this block as a kid, this was a place that my father would bring me to encourage me to get a good education and a good job. He said if you didn't do good in life, you'd end up down here. It was a rough spot. He also encouraged me to cut my hair as well, but that didn't pan out. This is a highly industrial neighborhood, and you didn't always feel comfortable cutting through at night. Initially, we rented to plumbers and HVAC techs, an armor car company, machine shops, a car rental company, and several other contractors. They're mostly independent businesses that just needed a place to call home, just a space. But over the years, the neighborhood has morphed organically into what it is today. I'm not saying that it's better, it's different. This newest incarnation has gone to great lengths to make this a neighborhood, more than just a rented spot to conduct business. It's become a community. Although this is the first solicitation ever for this neighborhood to receive any public monies, the Corridors Commission has been absolutely wonderful to work with. When the project was first presented, the board jumped at the opportunity to offer assistance. They even helped organize the event today, and like I said before, I mispronounced Jennifer's name just about every time I spoke with her. She still hung in there and got us to this point. I feel very honored to be the person who gets to stand up here and take credit for this amazing project that has involved so many working hands to get to this very moment. I hope you'll see this project for what it is. It's a gift from us at Walker Properties and the businesses down here at the warehouse block to not only our neighborhood, but our Mintel, Belcourt, and Kenwick neighbors, as well as the city of Lexington. It's a way to direct newcomers to the neighborhood, but for those of us who've been around for a long time, they're a reminder that we're almost home. Now, that's the official version, so you can cut the cameras off at this point. If you want the behind the scenes, okay, I bribed one of the Corridors Commission members to award us this grant. I told one of the members that we found old surveillance tapes of this certain member entering the old Sportsman's liquor store that was housed in this very spot quite frequently. And if they would award us this grant, these tapes would keep this spot, or if they would award us this grant, these tapes would go away. Now, truth be told, there were never any surveillance tapes, but the plan worked and we got the grant. On a totally unrelated note, I'd now like to introduce you to Councilmember Bill Farmer.
Thank you, Chad. Sportsman Liquor was here. That's all I've got. pleasure to be here with you all today on behalf of the mayor and the council and Councilmember Bledsoe, who's part of the Corridors Commission. I'm honored to chair that, and we had been asked to be partners in this, and I believe that we are that. And they brought us a great partnership opportunity, and that's what the Corridors does so well. We partner with folks to bring a little bit different look to each corridor. Sometimes it's art, sometimes it's plantings, like the big planting out at the intersection of Winchester and New Circle. This one's really elemental to what's going on. For just beyond this is Midland Avenue and everything we're doing for Town Branch. And just beyond this, you get all the way out to New Circle Road to get to our other planting. And there's great work to be done all up down through here, just as Chad talked about, that went on here on National Avenue. So on behalf of the mayor, the council, the Corridors Commission, it's a pleasure to have helped these folks, pleasure to be here today to see this, and then we will unveil, but you got to come back at night because they light up, and the lights will go with the colors of the season, the colors of the need, the colors of the opportunity. So creating a neighborhood is about keeping that which is special and adding to it. You all have done that. We applaud you in so many ways. Pleasure to be with you all today. Thank you very much.
It's always great to come out and see your design realized and people appreciating it. So I really appreciate the opportunity. Renato and I talked about this earlier, but this was really an ideal situation for a designer. We had complete creative freedom on the project. We had an enthusiastic group of business members who would be participating in the process, and we knew this had the potential to have a really positive impact on the community. So it was really a great project from that standpoint. Chad came to us and said, this is what we want. We want something that symbolizes a gateway, a landmark, and to build into this sense of place for this block. So understanding that and processing that, we knew we had to need something that was both visually interesting, but also pulled from the character of the place. So if you look at the designs on their endodecahedrons, 19-sided cubes, there's some symbology there. So not only in the patterning of it, pulled from different buildings in the area, but also from the landscape and the rail yard and the steel. There's also a symbology in that we decided to use a certain type of steel that would weather over time and change. So there's some symbolism in that as well. But the sides of the cubes represent the different people that are a part of this block, not only from the community, but also business owners, and how each side is uniquely different, but together creates something that is also really beautiful as a whole. Renato and I hope that this is something that speaks to this vision and the future of this area that we saw as being full of energy, full of creativity, and really engaging and fun. So overall, we hope this design embodies that, and hopefully everyone enjoys it moving forward. Thank you.
All right. So last thing I'll say, I guess we don't have a ribbon after all, so we'll pretend. And I want to say this too, Ryan and Renato have been amazing during this whole project. We tracked him down because he did the Southland Drive project, and so after several phone calls, surprisingly, he agreed to meet me, and we met here at Locals. And he's a designer, so he asks, well, what do you got in mind? I got no idea. It's like, all right, what's your budget? Again, no idea. He goes, well, you at least have a location. Like, yeah, this awful corner by a railroad track, that's your spot. You got to make it look pretty. And he pulled it off amazingly. We, as I mentioned before, we've been calling these things the cubes, and even through the design process, Ryan helped us find the creators. We couldn't find anybody to make these things. He said, well, I got a steel guy. I've got a guy in Nashville. It's like, okay, so that's who we use. So he was instrumental through every part of this. And my only task in the whole thing was I actually had to drive to Nashville to pick them up after they were completed. So that was my only part of coming to this point and get to stand in front of you guys and take credit for this. So Mr. Hargrove's correct. We gave him full artistic range, and the cubes are a reflection of that. I think the pieces are simultaneously rough and refined. They're industrial yet approachable, and suffice to say, we love them. We think they're awesome. Each building inside the block has its own name and its own story. And when I was a kid, nobody really knew National Avenue. They just knew it's the road you go on to get to Christmas. Now, the waypoints are locals, the place with the sales, or you turn right after Morningside, or we're trying to make this corner where it's not ugly anymore, and hopefully it's from now on will be, well, you turn right by those crazy things on the corner. Over time, we're hoping to add a small fragrance garden, maybe some fruit trees to this, but we wanted to showcase this creation for the block party tomorrow, so we were kind of under a tight deadline. And as a token of our appreciation, and he doesn't know where I'm doing this, but as a token of our appreciation, we like to name everything in the neighborhood, especially the little art gardens and things. So Ryan Hargrove, it made it an easy to name after him because his last name's Grove. So from here evermore, this will be the Grove Art Garden and Walking Path, or simply the Grove. So there you go. So Locals is going to open up here in a little bit, and we'll grab a snack for anybody that wants to hang around. In the meantime, feel free to wander around the art garden and the Grove, and or hang out in the neighborhood, whatever you guys like. So appreciate everybody coming, and have a great Friday.